Malika Kasa. Her greatest treasure wasn't her wealth or jewels, but her 3 lovely daughters, who were like little fairies to her. The eldest daughter was named Dua. True to her name, she was gentle, kind-hearted, and deeply sensitive. She felt others' pain as her own. Even small things could make her sad. If one of her sisters didn't listen to her during playtime, she would take it to heart and become quiet. Whenever Dua cried, Queen Kasa's heart ached too. But the queen knew how to comfort her little girl. She would hug Dua lovingly and whisper, "My little moonlight, learn to smile through life. Your heart is precious." Hearing this, Dua would wipe her tears and bloom again like a flower in her mother's arms. The second daughter, Suna, was pure innocence. She often lost herself in her own world of imagination, talking to flowers or staring at the drifting clouds while dreaming silently. She rarely complained and stayed happy in her own thoughts. The queen adored her dearly and often worried that Suna's innocence might make her too trusting. So, she always kept a gentle eye on her. The youngest daughter, Isha, was full of energy. Like most youngest children, she was a bit stubborn and quick-tempered. If someone touched her favorite doll, she would start shouting. Sometimes she refused to eat or threw tiny tantrums, but deep inside, she had a soft and loving heart. Queen Kasa found her antics adorable. She would laugh and say, "So what if my little one is stubborn? Even stubbornness can be a form of love." Queen Kasa's life revolved around her 3 daughters. Their smiles were her joy, and their tears were her pain. But hidden within the palace was a secret that no one knew. Queen Kasa had a dear friend who wasn't human. She was the queen of the fairy realm, named Hifsa. The two had been friends since childhood, but now they could only meet through a magical mirror. This mirror was kept in a locked room of the palace. It wasn't an ordinary mirror. When Queen Kasa placed her hand on its shining surface and spoke a few secret words, waves of light appeared, revealing the enchanting world of the fairies. There, everything sparkled with magic, glowing trees, star-like flowers, and fairies with colorful wings. One afternoon, while playing around the palace, little Suna and Isha wandered near this mysterious room, laughing and chasing each other. The girls slowly pushed the door open, and to their surprise, it wasn't locked that day. Perhaps Queen Kasa had been in a hurry and forgotten to close it. Curious and excited, both sisters stepped inside and saw a large, gleaming mirror in the center of the room. At first, it looked like an ordinary mirror. Suna said softly, "How beautiful it is. It almost looks like light is dancing inside it." Isha laughed and replied, "Come on, let's play in front of it. Look how our reflections are moving, it's like they're alive." But the moment Isha went closer, a sudden beam of light burst from the mirror. A powerful magical force pulled both sisters toward it, and in an instant, they disappeared. When they opened their eyes, they found themselves standing in a mystical forest filled with glowing lights. The sky shimmered in shades of pink, the trees had golden leaves, and the ground was covered with sparkling flowers. The air smelled sweet, and tiny glowing specks floated down from the sky like stars. Suna looked around in wonder. "What is this place? It feels like a dream," she whispered. Isha, frightened, clutched her sister's hand and said, "Where's Mama? How did we get here? I want to go home." Just then, a soft beam of light appeared before them, turning into a beautiful fairy with shining pink wings. She was Ariba, a kind-hearted fairy whose wings glowed with warmth and light. Smiling gently, she said, "Don't be afraid, little princesses. You've entered the fairy realm, but this world isn't meant for humans. You must return home soon." Unbeknownst to them, another fairy was watching from behind the shadows. Her wings were dark as night, and jealousy burned in her eyes. She was Alisha, a powerful yet envious fairy. That night, under the bright silver moon, all the fairies gathered together. The sky sparkled as Queen Hifsa, the fairy queen, appeared among them. Her presence filled the air with radiant light. In her strong, graceful voice, she declared, "The human princesses have entered our world. If they stay here too long, the balance of our realm will be disturbed. We must send them back immediately." Ariba stepped forward and said with courage, "My queen, I promise, even if it costs me my life, I'll make sure they return safely to their mother." But Alisha's mind was filled with darker thoughts. "If I can get these princesses to make just one magical wish," she whispered to herself, "I'll gain unimaginable power." A sly smile crept across her face. The next morning, Suna and Isha were fast asleep beside a glowing mushroom. Ariba sat nearby, watching over them with care. Just then, Alisha released a cloud of magical smoke that drifted toward the girls. In their dreams, Suna heard a soft voice say, "If you stay here with the fairies, you'll never be sad again." And Isha dreamt of the same voice whispering, "In this world, everything will obey you. No one will ever say no to you." In their sleep, both sisters smiled, unaware that a dark spell was beginning to take hold. Alisha tried to charm the princesses with her words, but before she could get any closer, Ariba's light burst through the darkness, cutting through the shadow like a blade. And then, the battle began. On one side was Ariba, whose wings rained arrows of light. On the other stood Alisha, her dark magic spilling clouds of black smoke and sharp thorns. The trees trembled, the ground shook, and the glowing flowers lost their shine. Terrified, Suna and Isha clung to each other. Isha cried, "I want to go home. I miss Mama." Ariba turned toward them and said gently, "Be brave, little princesses. Remember, light always defeats darkness." The fight grew fiercer, and just when it reached its peak, a blinding light descended from the sky. It was Queen Hifsa, the ruler of all fairies. Her voice echoed through the air, firm and powerful. "Alisha, you have crossed your limits. You tried to harm innocent children." Raising her magical staff toward the sky, Queen Hifsa released a beam of radiant light that surrounded Alisha. In the blink of an eye, the dark fairy was trapped inside a glass bottle, which rose high into the sky and sealed shut forever. Silence followed. The forest filled once again with peace and light. Ariba wrapped her glowing wings around Suna and Isha and said softly, "It's time for you to return to your mother." She guided them to a magical doorway that shimmered with golden light. As the circle of light opened, the two sisters found themselves back in their palace. The moment Queen Karsa saw her daughters, she ran to them and held them tightly. "My little princesses! Where were you? I thought I'd lost you forever," she cried. The girls burst into tears and told their mother everything that had happened. Queen Karsa looked toward Ariba and said with deep gratitude, "You are more than a fairy, you are an angel who protected my children." Ariba smiled warmly, her wings glowing brighter than ever, and then, in a soft wave of light, she disappeared into the air.